I would say take it slow. So there's a lot of influencers that will convince you start a strategy in 1 month, be out of your job. Really understand that trading is a long-term game. If you're just in it to make a couple $1,000 really fast, it's not for you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another TFT interview. Today, I have the pleasure to host Jacob, who comes from Virginia. Welcome, Jacob.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing well. I can't complain. Thanks
Glad
for
to
having me
hear.
on.
My pleasure. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what got into trading?
For sure. So, I started trading around a lot of people. It seems like they've started trading around this time as well, like late 2020, when it kind of became certain that like job security, sometimes just isn't realistic. Like you can't rely on one income these days. And I kind of realized that at that point. So I was looking for different avenues. My buddy introduced me to trading, and it's been a wild ride ever since.
So, can you tell us a little bit about the learning curve? Did you learn everything by yourself? Did you have any mentor?
Sure. So I had a couple of different courses that I went through. My buddy was trading kind of similar to IML, like in terms of like the network marketing structure of it, but it was a different strategy. It feels like gambling looking back on it. We were basically on US 30 and buying the breakouts at 9:30. So as soon as the market opens, just whatever way it was going, we were buying or we were selling. It was interesting to say the least, but it was working for a really long time because, back then, that was right after the market crashed. So it was doing nothing but booming almost every single day. And then from there, I kind of realized, once the market had kind of, gone back to all-time highs and then started to retrace, we had some different uncertainties within the market, it became not as simple. So I started looking for a couple of different strategies, and I ended up coming across ICT. Have been working with his strategies that he teaches on his free YouTube for the last, I want to say, year and a half.
Okay, and how long time did it take you to find your model? Because ICT has like so many concepts.
Yeah. I think it definitely took me a long time. I'd say it took me at least a year probably before I, really kind of understood, hey, I don't need to apply every single one of his concepts into each trade, because I think that is a rabbit hole that a lot of people end up going down because he knows so much about the markets. When you see somebody that can go on a live stream and call each candle as it's being printed on the chart, it's very hard to, not try to take every single thing that he's saying and like try to put it into every single one of your trades. Once I kind of focused on a couple of key concepts that seemed to resonate with me and just seemed to kind of play out consistently over time, I developed a model and was able to find profitability.
That's amazing. Which part is like your favorite one from the concept?
Yeah, I would probably say either the fair value gap or the order block. I try to use them in conjunction with each other. It seems to provide a pretty high confluence.
What did you struggle with the most in the whole like learning journey, and how did you overcome those struggles?
I would definitely say overtrading was my biggest struggle. I was someone that, was hopping on the charts. And I think a lot of it was because of the previous strategy that I had learned, because it didn't matter what the market looked like at 9:30, we were there buying or selling. And
Bad
so,
habits.
yeah, it ended up forming a really bad habit of just assuming that a trade is going to be there, assuming that there is a potential to make money every single day in the markets. And that's just not realistic, right? At the end of the day, there are going to be plenty of setups to take, but which ones offer the highest probability? Which ones have the most confluences? Which ones align most with like your bias on the markets? Because I caught myself a lot of times trying to sell to buy, buy to sell. And it's like, I think once you get experienced, you can get to the point where you do that. But, when you're early on, you're just trying to develop your model. That's the last thing you want to be doing, right? You want to be buying with the trend, selling with the trend. and making sure that your strategy, is alignment with everything that's going on in the market.
A common problem that I see with many ICT students is that they think that you have to have a daily bias every single day. And that's like, they think that you have to know every single day where the market is going. And that's not the case. Like, many times you're neutral and you're just waiting for market to tell you what it wants to do. Many people get confused because there are lots of things and they think that they have to know everything in order to be profitable, but that's not the case. If you like pick just a couple of things and focus on them, you definitely have much better results, in my opinion, than trying to like implement everything possible that you've learned.
Absolutely.
Yeah, would you like to share your screen and show us how your model looks like and maybe an example of a trade that you've taken?
This is the pair that I prefer to trade. I prefer to stick to Euro USD and AUD USD. Those two just seem to work the best for the model that I've developed, and been able to put into practice. So I like to kind of establish a bias on the higher time frames. I typically either use the 4-hour or the daily, but you can see we're making higher highs and higher lows, right? Consistently doing that. I think market structure is one of the biggest things that if you can find a way to understand market structure, it's going to make it much easier to develop a bias and be able to consistently find trades that are in line with what the market is doing. For example, some people would probably like try to say that like, oh, because we broke this low that, now we're bearish. No, because this is the low that created this high. So until this low is broken, then we are still bullish on the 4-hour. Understanding that is definitely going to be key. This isn't a trade I'd personally take, but it's just an example that I found. So we'll go in here and go into the 15-minute. We have, bullish bias, forming up. We respected this low here, even on the 15-minute, which created this high. You can see we've now broken this high, right? So that confirms that this low will stay intact. When we have a big fair value gap like this, it's going to be possible that you could get in a little too early and, have yourself take on too much risk. So what I like to do is wait for it to come down to about the 62 fib before I start looking for a potential entry here. All right, so you can see now we've tapped into the 62 fib, and this is where I would personally look to get involved. And so now we can kind of go on the lower time frames and see what is forming up here. So I personally like to go on the 1 minute, sometimes the 3 minute, depending on how volatile the market is. If you're on the 1 minute, sometimes if the market doesn't have enough going on, you can end up getting yourself into a spot where things are not clear as to what's happening. And so right now what I'm doing is I'm just waiting for a break of structure. Some people would wait for even a retracement of it to come back down into this low. I personally, that's enough for me. And so what I would do is I would target these highs that are up here. Me personally, I like to just kind of go to like that order block that hasn't been tapped yet, which would be this one here. We've got a 1 to 3 risk to reward. That's personally my risk to reward setup that I like to do. I risk 0.5% per trade. If I stick with these 0.5% trades, if you do the math, you're allowing yourself to lose 20 trades in a row before you blow any account. Odds are you're not going to find even 10 trades in one day that would all be valid to take to where you would get close to that daily drawdown. So right, this is the way I like to trade. Just have as minimum risk as possible, and be able to have a trade that just aligns with the daily bias and makes me feel confident to take that trade. So,
and do you take partials?
I personally don't take partials. I know that's a personal preference. Some people would argue, take some off the table. Sometimes I will set my stop loss to break even. It all kind of depends on what the market is doing. It takes, a lot of practice and a lot of just reading the market. Really should just spend time in front of the charts, just watching price move. You don't always have to be in a trade to learn, how to read price. Just watching price, just sitting back and watching how it moves, watching what it does before it hits, targets and things of that nature. Tracking all of that is going to help you have a lot more confidence when you are in a trade, and understand what is best to do in that circumstance.
Do you like focus on institutional levels, or it's just that simple model that you use? You only want to see order blocks, fair value gaps, and OTE?
My personal model, I am just looking for when we are retracing on the 4 hour, we're tapping in to test a low that created a previous higher high, or if we're bearish, we're testing a previous high that created a lower low, and watching us retrace from that. If we get a bullish impulse, which would result in a fair value gap, and that break structure, that's when I would look to try to find a trade and get involved.
And do you have any specific skill zone when you're trading, or you trade more?
Because I'm currently working on a 9 to 5 corporate career, I tend to only trade from 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m.
Okay.
New York time.
So that's why OTE works really well. It's a perfect one for a New York session.
Yes, absolutely. You definitely want to stay in line with kill zones. I think this actually happened. Yeah, this happened within the London kill zone. Yeah, I definitely think their price moves on a schedule, and these are all things that you can learn as you're further developing your trading and just learning how the market moves. You'll learn that an Asian session around that 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. A lot of beginner traders, I feel like, try to trade during that time because they're like, oh, that's when I'm off work. That's when I would normally be playing video games or, whatever. Let me be productive and try to make some money in the markets. It's definitely not the smartest idea because, Asian session is mainly consolidation. That is where price is essentially building up liquidity to take either the top side or the left side or the downside and, move accordingly.
Interesting. I really like to look at for Judy swing during London session and OTE for New York session. How is your psychology towards trading, and what have you done to improve your psychology?
I would say my psychology, I'd like to think it's pretty solid right now. I do feel like setting up a trading plan is going to help with your psychology, because at the end of the day, if your trading plan says that, oh, I can take 5 trades today and like I'm still in line with my trading plan, that's going to lead to over trading. That's going to lead to taking trades that you're not fully confident in just because, oh, my trading plan says that I can take 3 more trades today, even though I've already taken 2 losses, right? For me personally, I kind of realized that it doesn't affect me mentally that much, especially when I'm only risking 0.5% on the account, because at the end of the day, if I'm targeting a 1 to 3 risk to reward, I'm still going to make 1% on that next trade if it was a win, right? After 1 loss, I still feel like I'm mentally prepared and competent to go ahead and take another trade that day if I see one that, aligns with my model. But after that second trade, if that second trade is a loss, I'm done for the day, because I've journaled that, after I take a second loss in one day, that I start to feel a certain way towards the market, right? For me personally, I had to realize that it's important to not try to become emotionless with trading, but to allow those emotions to come and to understand them, understand what behaviors those emotions may cause you to do if you continue to sit in front of the markets. At the end of the day, you can practice meditation. You can do all these different things to, reduce the amount of anger or, whatever emotions you feel when you take a loss or when your trade's in drawdown. At the same time, want to work with, okay, what is my psychology currently, right? What are my current behaviors so that I can, align myself to be profitable in the markets and, kind of enhance my psychology as my trading career develops and as my, my personal development continues.
Emotions are not bad. People think that emotions are bad in trading. No, they're just telling you something. They're signalizing something. It's our job to understand what those triggers are and where they come from. We just have to focus on what the emotions are trying to tell us, not to focus to eliminate them, because we can't eliminate them. We're human beings.
Exactly. I think if you try to eliminate them, you're going to you're gonna experience a tough time. You're gonna be fighting towards like your natural self. Like I think it's important as well to find a trading model that fits with your personality because otherwise you are fighting yourself. I realized when I tried to develop a swing trading model that I was fighting myself because I personally cannot sit in a trade overnight. I will wake up at 2 in the morning and think, what's that trade doing? And open it up, and I will not go back to sleep until that trade has either resulted in hitting my stop loss or resulted in hitting my take profit. So therefore, I don't swing trade. Some people can do that. Some people can be in a trade and they're okay with whatever it's doing while they're asleep and it doesn't affect them. That's great. It's not me. Definitely developing a model and finding a strategy that fits with your personality is going to be key to doing that as well.
Yeah, definitely. So first of all, understand who you are, and then look what is for you.
Exactly.
Because it's good that you mentioned about the swing trading. Because I have a friend who was telling to me, but why don't you try? Like, why don't you hold? No, I can't hold. Like, I can't hold trades. I can hold trades for some hours, but not overnight because I know that I'm not going to be able to sleep as well. I'll say when it comes to that. Did you read any like psychology books or practice any mindfulness techniques also for improving your focus and mental gain?
Yes, learned the power of now. That is a book that really helped me just become present because I think if you're too focused on the outcome of a particular trade, that is going to cause even more emotions to happen, right? If you can allow yourself to think of trading like a business, right? Where like if you take a loss, like, oh, that's just like buying a printer for my business. That's buying software for my business, right? It's necessary in order to get the profits. If you can think of your business like that, or if you can think of it as like the way a casino thinks, like they don't care if someone, wins the jackpot one night and they lose money. They care what happens over a period of time, and they know that their edge is going to play out. They're going to end up becoming profitable. You have to think the same way when you're trading. The Power of Now is definitely a book that helps me a lot, just being able to stay present, just kind of focusing on, what is happening now. In hindsight, it's not going to matter in 5 years whether this trade is a loss or whether this trade is a win, right? It makes the most sense for me to just sit there, sit in the moment, watch price play out, learn from it, and, continue to move forward.
How did trading help you to like understand yourself and improve your person, like on a personal level?
The market is just doing what the market does, right? When you start attaching meaning to that and you start getting angry, that is showing that you have something in your personal life that you need to fix, right? There's something that you need to work on, and then you can come back to the markets with the fresh head, with a fresh mindset, and be able to not make those same mistakes.
What advice would you give to new traders that are just getting started?
I would say take it slow. There's a lot of trading groups, there's a lot of influencers that will convince you that you can start a strategy and in 1 month, be out of your job, be riding in expensive cars, be in apartment, condo in Miami. They will convince you of this. It's really important to understand that they didn't get there in 1 month. Even though they're telling you that they got there in 1 month, it doesn't mean they got there in 1 month. Really understand that trading is a long-term game. If you're just in it to make a couple $1,000 really fast, it's not for you. I'm sorry, it's not. If you want quick money, trading is not it. Now, once you develop a skill, you develop your psychology, it's an incredible opportunity helping undercapitalized people that are good traders be able to, develop wealth for themselves and create that for themselves. It's a great opportunity once you get to that point. But if you are just now starting trading, I would recommend just taking it slow. Understand that you may not make any money for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, and you have to be okay with that.
And when you mentioned prop firms, how did you find TFT and how is your experience with us?
I found the funded trader, I believe, through Blake, who makes prop firm review videos. I think at the time I was working with like FTMO, my Forex funds, trying them out. And then he announced that, he was working on a prop firm, and, I found a lot of trust with him, and I was like, let me try this company out. And I've had a great experience. This was my first payout this past month, and, it was a breeze. So I appreciate you guys.
And what are your goals with trading? Like, where do you see yourself in like 5 years?
I see myself hopefully being gone from my corporate career, doing my YouTube channel full time, and then having trading as, a side additional income. I think that's another thing too that, people need to realize as well. Like, I feel like trading full time, it sounds nice, but at the end of the day, it's very stressful. I know a lot of people who, tried to go full time a little too early, and they ended up causing a lot of stress on themselves, because now when they take trades, they can't not care about the result, right? Now they're like, I have to pay bills with this, right? And so if you want to toll on your psychology, like, feel free to go for it. But me personally, I would like to develop my YouTube channel to a good enough level to where that has income coming in to pay for my expenses, and then trading is just additional income on top of it.
Yeah, it's really important that you mentioned that, because I think as well that having only one source of income, which is trading, is definitely gonna have an impact on your trading performance. And what is your main purpose with the YouTube channel, except from the extra income that you would like to have with it?
It's mainly to help people that, are in the place that I was in a couple years ago, struggling with trading, struggling with my psychology, and just helping them, with my journey as I become a better trader. I'm not perfect by any means. Full disclosure, like, I blew a funded account within like the last 3 months. Like, it's okay, it happens. And you just have to be able to accept that and move forward and learn from it. I think it's mainly to help people that are in the situation that I was in, and helping them move forward.
Do you have any other like interests and passions apart from trading?
Yes, I love playing basketball. I love playing music. I was in a punk rock band for a little bit when I was in college. So the time freedom is really what's attractive to me with the trading lifestyle, and, having a YouTube channel, because, I can kind of focus on those hobbies and doing some things that I love. I think a lot of people, their goal is to just sit in front of the charts all day. And it's like, you gotta have some other interests outside of that.
Any last words that you would like to share with us?
I appreciate you guys very much. I'm excited to continue working with you guys. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope you guys took some notes and, learned some things, and that will help you. And, feel free to reach out to me via Instagram or on my YouTube channel. I'll be happy to answer questions you guys might have that you're struggling with your trading journey.
Thank you so much for your time and sharing your experience with us. Thank you for all the nice words. And yeah, people definitely have a lot of things to learn from you, because you definitely mentioned very important things about trading, about mindset, and about the expectations, what kind of expectations to have, because many people are coming into trading with totally wrong expectations, and that's why the journey becomes even more chaotic and crazy. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your experience with us. I wish you best of luck with the trading, with your YouTube channel, and I hope to have a follow-up interview in the near future to see how things are going when you hit the maximum allocation and get more payouts.
Thank you so much, Anna. Likewise, same to you.
Thank you. To all you watching, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and show us some love in the comments down below. Trade safe, and until next time.